Aaron Rodgers just made history on Monday Night Football, and Peyton Manning fans might want to look away. At 42 years old, the Steelers quarterback is still climbing up the record books and leaving legends in his rearview mirror. Monday night in Pittsburgh was freezing cold. The temperature at kickoff was just 16 degrees. But that didn't stop Aaron Rodgers from heating things up against the Miami Dolphins. The Steelers crushed Miami 28-15, and Rodgers put on a show that will be remembered for years. Here's what makes this game so special. Rodgers threw 2 touchdown passes in the second half. The first one was a 19-yard strike to his old Green Bay teammate Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
5 straight runs to open this second half for the Steelers. Try to go to the air here. Rodgers, end zone's got his man. Touchdown, Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
The second was a 28-yard bomb to DK Metcalf that had everyone jumping out of their seats. That second touchdown wasn't just another score. It was history in the making. With that throw, Rodgers recorded his 166th career game with multiple touchdown passes. That moved him past Peyton Manning into third place on the all-time list. Manning had 165 games. Now only Tom Brady with 204 and Drew Brees with 173 are ahead of Rodgers. After the game, Rodgers talked about why he played so well in the freezing weather. He said,
I'm a California kid, but I've always enjoyed playing in the cold weather. I feel like there can be some advantages to the offense, especially when you're playing on a field that's a little beat up or super slick like Green Bay became over the years. So I've always enjoyed that. I'm gifted with hands that can handle a cold ball.
Those words rang true as he completed an amazing 23 of 27 passes for 224 yards. The DK Metcalf touchdown was the play everyone will remember. Metcalf caught the ball around the 15-yard line with 2 defenders on him, but he didn't go down. Instead, he threw one defender to the ground like a toy, broke through more tackles, and powered into the end zone. Rodgers called it,
obviously I had one to DK early for 22, but the play by DK was one of the better plays I've seen in my 21 years. There's a play by Dallin Driver back in 2009, which was one of the greatest catch and runs I've ever seen, but that was pretty special. Tight window, catch, juke, hard stiff arm. That was fun to see him.
This performance was huge for the Steelers. They moved to 8-6 and stayed in first place in the AFC North. They're 1 game ahead of the Baltimore Ravens with 3 games left to play. For Rodgers, this season has been special. He hasn't been to the playoffs since 2021 when he was still with Green Bay. In 2022, his Packers team struggled. In 2023, he played just 4 snaps with the Jets before tearing his Achilles. In 2024, the Jets were terrible. Now in Pittsburgh, he's finally back in the playoff hunt. The game started slow. Neither team scored much in the first half. Then Connor Hayward punched in a touchdown with just 17 seconds left before halftime to make it 7-3. That opened the floodgates. The Steelers scored on 4 straight drives after that. The third quarter was complete domination. Pittsburgh outscored Miami 14-0 inches that quarter alone. Even crazier, the Steelers gained 163 yards while the Dolphins had -20 yards. Yes, -20. Miami went 3 and out twice and couldn't do anything against Pittsburgh's defense. By the time the fourth quarter started, the Steelers led 28-3. The game was over. Miami scored 2 late touchdowns to make it look closer at 28-15, but everyone knew who won this battle. Rodgers wasn't just good, he was great. His 85.2% completion rate was the second highest of his entire career. His passer rating of 125.9 was his best this season. At one point, he completed 13 passes in a row. This win was extra special for the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh has now won 22 straight home games on Monday nights. That's the longest streak in NFL history. Their last home loss on Monday night was back in 1991. Head coach Mike Tomlin is now 12-0 at home on Monday Night Football. That's the most home wins without a loss by any coach ever. Rodgers himself improved to 11-2 at home on Monday nights during his career. For Miami, this loss was crushing. The Dolphins dropped to 6-8 and were officially eliminated from the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game since the year 2000. That's the longest drought in the entire NFL right now. The Dolphins also have a huge problem with cold weather. Monday marked their 14th straight loss in games, played below 40 degrees. They just can't seem to win when it gets chilly. Miami's coach Mike McDaniel now has a terrible record against good teams. The Dolphins are 4-16 against teams with winning records under him, but they're 30-15 against teams that are average or below. That tells you everything you need to know about their struggles. Let's talk about what made Rodgers so special on Monday. He showed why he's a 4-time MVP. His throws were perfect, his decisions were smart, and he stayed calm the whole game. Kenneth Gainwell ran for 126 yards from scrimmage, matching starting running back Jaylen Warren's total. Dylan Cook, playing in his first NFL start, didn't allow a single pressure from Miami's defense. These guys showed up when the team needed them. Rodgers also passed another legend recently. Back in October, he moved past Ben Roethlisberger for 5th place on the all-time passing yards list. Big Ben was Pittsburgh's quarterback for 18 years. Now Rodgers has 64,222 career passing yards. Only Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre have more. Think about that for a second. Rodgers spent his first 3 NFL seasons sitting on the bench as Favre's backup in Green Bay. He didn't even play. Then in 2023, he got hurt after just 4 plays with the Jets. Despite all that, he's still 5th all-time in passing yards. The next 3 weeks will be huge for Pittsburgh. They play at Detroit next week, then at Cleveland, then they host Baltimore in the season finale. That Ravens game in Week 18 could decide who wins the AFC North. Rodgers talked about how important division games are. He said,
"These guys have won four straight coming in. We know, well, some of us, maybe a few of us, know about how obviously the first way to get to the playoffs is win your division. You haven't beaten Baltimore already. There's obviously tiebreakers that come into effect, including divisional record, conference record. So winning your AFC games are really important."
The Steelers already beat Baltimore once this season. They have the head-to-head tiebreaker. If they can win the division, they're in the playoffs. It's that simple. After the game, Rodgers talked about being back in meaningful December football. He said,
24 we weren't very good. So it's been a while since been a part of stuff like this. Nothing changes. It's just, I feel real comfortable in this environment. Obviously, the crowd was really good tonight.
This is what Rodgers wanted when he joined Pittsburgh. He wanted to compete for championships again. He wanted to play games that mattered. And now he's getting exactly that. The Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf connection is getting better every week. When those two are clicking, they're almost impossible to stop. If they keep this up, the AFC playoffs are going to be very interesting. At 42 years old, Rodgers is playing some of his best football. Some people call it the fountain of youth. Whatever it is, the Steelers are thankful to have him. Pittsburgh hasn't had a quarterback this good since Ben Roethlisberger retired after the 2021 season. The cold weather seems to bring out the best in Rodgers. While Miami was freezing and struggling, Rodgers was comfortable and confident. He spent years playing in Green Bay where the weather gets brutal. Those fields would get icy and slick. He learned how to handle those conditions. Rodgers also mentioned being happy that Philip Rivers came out of retirement. Rivers is 44 years old and tried to help the Colts this season. That means Rodgers isn't the oldest player in the league anymore. Rivers fell short in his comeback attempt against Seattle, but Rodgers is thriving in Pittsburgh. This season might be Rodgers' last. These final 3 weeks could be the end of an incredible 21-year career. But he's not going out quietly. He's fighting for every win and adding to his legacy with every game. Passing Peyton Manning in any statistical category is a big deal. Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He won 5 MVP awards. He won 2 Super Bowls. He holds tons of NFL records. And now Rodgers has passed him in games with multiple touchdown passes. Only Tom Brady and Drew Brees are ahead of Rodgers now. Brady has 204 games with multiple touchdowns. Brees has 173. Those are massive numbers. But Rodgers at 166 is right there with them. This record shows how consistent Rodgers has been throughout his career. Having multiple touchdown passes in 166 different games means he's been elite for a very long time. It's not just about one great season. It's about doing it year after year.